Well, you join me here mid-session down at St Ives in Cambridgeshire. It's a complex that I joined this year. I did a winter on here 2 years ago, but had a full ticket for this year. I'm currently fishing the lagoon, and my first session on here, which was back in April, it's now September, but yeah, my first session, first night, I had 2 fish. I had a 32, a 31, and unfortunately I lost one. And since then, it's taught me a lesson. Yet to have another bite, although I have been close on a few occasions, but as normal with fishing, unfortunately I just ran out of time. So I just wanted to take a few minutes just to go through my approach and how I apply my bait when I'm fishing on St Ives. A little bit of information I found early on was they do like a boilie in here, so obviously fortunately with being a member of the Team PCF, Premium Carp Fishing, I had access to some very, very good baits. Now during the summer I do like to use more of a fish mealy bait, which is over the Ocean Amino or the Relish, and then move on to this sort of time of year when I start using the Sweet Amino, and I'll be using that going on into the winter. But when it comes to using the bait, good thing about boilies and why I love using boilies so much is they're very versatile. You can use them whole, you can halve them, you can crush them, you can blend them up so they're a fine powder. So you can, rather than using a particle mix, you can do all sorts with boilies, which is, makes life that little bit easier anyway, but you can adapt it to your fishing situation. So generally what I do, I'll crush them up or with an ice crusher, halve them, mix them all in a tub, and then I put some of our liquid enhancer on top of it. This just happens to be the Sweet Amino one, but I put the liquid enhancer over the top and then leave that on there for a good couple of hours just to let it sort of soak into the bait just a little bit. And then on top of all of that I put some of our pimping powder. Now you don't need too much of this, just enough to coat all of the bait, so it's just a case of putting it in the bucket, giving it a shake up, and then I leave it. Ideally it's something you want to do the day before you come down, so it's got time to actually coat itself to the bait. Now our pimping powder, that's full of, it's an amino package basically inside here, with a few little other secrets that I can't really go into, but there's so many attractants into this powder that stick to the bait, and it does fall to the bottom on the bait and then obviously breaks down, comes off around the bait, and it just gives you that extra little bit of attraction around your loose feed. And then I also like to put in a little bit of pellet. So these pellets themselves, these are actually the Home Fen mix or the Relish. Not too many, but just enough to help again these break down in the water, so it leaves a carpet of food, and hopefully the fish will keep rooting around. But we do these in the range. All the matching boilies have the matching pellet as well. These ones just happen to be the Relish. And then I also put in some sweet corn. Sweet corn is a bait that will never die. It's caught thousands of fish, hundreds of thousands of fish, and it will continue to do so. Once I've mixed that up, I will then put some glug over the top, or our Spod Nectar. So this is the Ocean Amino Spod Nectar. Mix it around again, just leave it for a few minutes just so it clings to the bait and soaks into it, and then we can spot it out into the location. Now this session I am using Ocean Amino on 2 rods and then Sweet Amino on a 3rd. I'm still trying to ring the changes on here of what the fish like, whether it's more of a fishy bait. I'd caught on Ocean Amino the first 2 fish, but I'm just, like I say, I'm trying to use the Sweet Amino now, because going forward and into the winter, that is what I'm going to be using. So at the moment I'm just keeping my options open by using 2 baits, the Ocean and then the Sweet Amino. So the Spod Nectars have come into their own the last few years. They're quite new to the range, but we have seen catch results increase while people are using it, and it just shows how much we sell of this, proves how much people actually like it. It's full of attractants that do drag the fish down to the bottom, and like I say, when you've got it over bait, when you're spotting it out and it's falling through the water column, it helps by colouring up the water as well. I very, very rarely put any bait out that hasn't got the Spod Nectar over the top of it. We do the Spod Nectar in the whole range of our boilies, so the sweet amino, the relish, the ocean amino, and also the spice amino. The sweet amino, like I say, is one that I'm using today, so I've done exactly the same as what I've done with the ocean amino, cut, chopped and whole boilies, with the liquid attractant or enhancer over the top, the pimping powder, same sort of mix with pellet and corn, and then a bit of Spod Nectar over the top of it. You open that bucket and it just smells really, really sweet and really, really attractive. But like I say, I won't cast out, I won't bait up without some of the Spod Nectar on my bait. So as for rigs on this session, I like to use bottom baits or wafters. It's rare you see me using pop-ups nowadays. In the right situation they are great, but I think over bait, a bottom bait, for me personally, I believe you're getting a few more bites. However, I do use them in conjunction with a pop-up by either having a snowman set up, or what I do is cut basically a slice of a boilie. Generally it'll be a GS1 or a matching bottom bait of what I'm putting out. So my right hand rod in this situation has just got a sweet amino boilie straight out of the bag, slice off the top, and then I've just used 10mm stinky pink pop-ups, again cut in half, and then just put them on top. So you've got a little sight bob. I do like the pinks. These things here have accounted for so many fish for myself and for the rest of the team and the rest of the anyone who really tries them, to be honest. They're a nice washed out pink, they're not too bright, they're not too in your face, you know, they've got that smell of crab and a fish to them. They stink, but these are the ones that are my go-tos. I'll either use the 10mm or I will use the 14mm pop-ups, but like I said, I will slice them and then put them on top of a bottom bait, so it's a bit like a snowman but not two whole baits. And again, it's something that I've been using for the last few years and it's done me really, really well. While we're talking about our pop-ups, like I say, we've got a big range. So we've got the stinky pinks, which are a fish smell. We've got the twisted orange, which is very much like a tutti frutti type smell, but it's actually more zesty, so there's a lot more sort of orange flavouring in these. We've got the yellow ones, which are the Stellar Yellows, which of course are pineapple, and then we've got the crystal whites. Now the white ones are a really sweet sort of creamy smell to them. For winter fishing, these ones are ideal. If you're starting to chuck singles around during the winter, these ones, the white ones, are absolutely brilliant. Got a lot of fish on them. Just those bonus fish where you chuck into a showing fish. But yeah, the crystal whites are up there when it comes to my winter fishing. Now, something we do supply with all of our pop-ups now, whether it is the Supreme pop-up range or the matching baits that we do for our bottom baits, i.e. the relish, these ones here, is a little booster spray. Now this is a liquid of the flavouring that's actually in the boilie or in the pop-ups, and it just keeps them topped up. Or if you want that extra smell, you can put the whole lot in one go and it just keeps turning them around and they'll absorb the smell. They're strong enough as they are straight out the pot, but just to give them that extra little bit of a boost, we supply in every tub of pop-ups a little bottle of booster spray. Now that is included in the 14mm and also in the 10mm pop-ups. You get a bottle in each and every one. I'm just throwing that down my leg. Something else that we supply that match all of the bottom baits that we do, so the relish, the ocean amino, the sweet amino and the spice amino, are a range of hard hook baits, wafters and also matching pop-ups. We have these for the whole range, like I say, so the relish, these are hard hookers, ocean amino hard hookers, and what these are just got an extra thick skin on them, so they last that little bit longer in the water. I'm quite happy to leave these out for 48 hours without really worrying about them. They're in Himalayan rock salt, so that helps dry them out. What I have found with these, the longer that they're in the salt, the harder they get. The salt's there to actually, it sort of draws out the moisture, but also the hook baits absorb the salt, which, as we all know, is very, very attractive to the carp, especially in the springtime. But one of my favourites in the range, and I haven't got many left in this pot anyway, are the GS ones. Now these ones have got a fantastic coating. It's got 5 layers of all sorts of spices and again, powdered amino acids. It's a fantastic hook bait. Again, these are in salt, and when these are in the water, the coating just slowly breaks down and makes a little sort of patch around the actual hook bait, but that takes a good few hours for that to happen. These are one of my go-to hook baits. I've got it on my middle rod, again topped up with a little stinky pink pop-up. But the hard hook baits, if you're leaving a hook bait out in the water for any period of time, like I say, we've got the matching ones that match our boilie range, and also the GS ones, which are ones that I use over the top of anything really. Another thing we have in our range, as much as you've got the booster pots inside the hook baits, we also do booster sprays. So these are 100ml sprays, exactly the same as what's in the little bottles you get with your pop-ups, but with these ones you can use them for all sorts of methods. For me personally, this is something that I will use when I'm using a stick mix. If it's not dunked in the glug, then I will spray it up, basically spray the stick up with the booster spray before casting out. It's great for zigs as well, if you're using foam obviously on the zigs. A couple of sprays on this, it's surprising how long it actually stays on the foam for. Again, we do it in the full range on the relish, the sweet amino, the ocean amino, and also the spice amino.